People have been my subject matter for the past 15 years. All of my artwork is about people. I don't think about peoples as individuals per se, but I try and think of something bigger than the person. So people represent a culture or a state of mind. I still want to keep what makes each individual special and interesting, be it their features or a specific gesture, but I'm always thinking beyond who that specific individual is to what they represent, what people see, how people think about them in society. On the surface of all of my work is a layer of shapes, which is my nod to modernism or impressionism. Prior to working with the figure, I was exploring abstraction and playing with color and shapes and forms, and really liked the flat feel, the way you're always aware of the canvas surface, but knew I wanted to move into the figure and capturing people. The shapes on the surface are my way of keeping some of that flatness. I was specifically inspired by Seurat and pointillism. I loved how he took dabs of different colors of paint and put them next to each other to create a specific color. All of my shapes are drawn by hand, and that's inspired by Cy Twombly. I love the feel of the artist's hand within each of the shapes. And while you look at the pieces, oftentimes you don't notice that there's this difference from shape to shape. If you look closely, you can see that they're not all perfect. And the shapes on the surface always represent my interpretation or the overarching theme of the series. I think of it as putting the artist's perspective right on the surface of the canvas so that it hopefully opens that dialogue that you think about how you see people. All of my work is done in series, and one series tends to come on the next. So with each series, I'll explore an idea in a variety of different directions for each piece. And then once I feel like I've exhausted that idea, I'll move on to the next series. But there's always a gradual progression with my work so that one thing flows from the next. My recent work is a new direction, which is exploring the underlying emotional states of the figures in my pieces. So in this series, I'm using weather and seasons as a metaphor for emotions. And the pieces explore mood and relationships. In addition to having the layer symbolic shapes on the surface, I'm also using color symbolically. So a piece might have pictures of spring shapes, such as a seedling, and then also use green, because green is a color that I associate with the new growth that you see in the springtime. Prior to the series, my work had focused on hipster culture and specifically the nostalgia that you see in that culture. I find it really interesting that there was an entire culture based on looking to the past, and spend a lot of time thinking about what that means to always be looking backward. So I found hipsters very interesting and did quite a few series focusing on that subject matter. But as I saw politics and correspondingly the culture change in the United States, I wanted to move from focusing on the general shared ideas that a group or a culture maintains to thinking about the individuals that comprise of that group and what are the shared experiences that all individuals see. So in this most recent work, I focused on those underlying things that we all experience.